If the grid goes down tomorrow, what's the first HF digital mode would you pull out of your toolbox? For me, hands down, FSQ. Now, understand there is no perfect tool that exists today. However, that's the first one I would choose, and let me tell you why. Three reasons. First, easy to do direct peer-to-peer messaging that's fairly secure between one or multiple operators. Two, I can send files from my PC hard drive to whoever I choose within that network, or all of them if I choose, and send that to their PC hard drive securely. Third, if I can't reach someone in that network because of propagation, my equipment, whatever the reason, if someone else can within that network who's on FSQ at that time, they can become what is known as a relay beacon. And so the message that I would send to that intended party that I can't reach can now be routed through someone who is connected to them automatically without any intervention on anyone's behalf. Pretty cool stuff. So if this sounds of interest to you, let's get started. Hey, this is MJ, call sign KW3KW, and welcome to another episode of Ham Radio Made Simple. I'm continuing the series on ham radio for prepping, and this is episode number 7. And the focus has been digital HF modes. This is part 4. Today we'll be on FSQ. This is the prepper's mode. If there was one digital HF mode I had to pull out of my toolbox first, it would be this mode. And I think after watching this video, I think you might agree. Hopefully you will. Anyhow, if you're getting value out of these type of videos that I'm putting out, or in this video for the first time you're watching this, please hit the like button, the subscribe button. What's this doing? It's helping others to be able to find this channel faster. And my goal and purpose on all of this is to shorten your learning curve and try to put all the information into one place so you don't have to piece together multiple videos and try to figure out how to operate this stuff. And keep it simple, by the way, because I'm not a technical person by any means. Anyhow, I appreciate the comments, the encouraging words, what I'm doing right, what I need to do different. I appreciate that. Continue to do that, and thank you so much. Today's agenda: what is FSQ and what makes it so unique? I'm going to do a live demo of FSQ on FLDigi. If you don't know what FLDigi is, or you don't know how to use it correctly, make sure you watch the video that's linked in the description below. I go through it, I make it simple, show you how to use it, and best practices. If you watch that video, you'll be able to do what I'm showing you today. I'm going to be talking about relaying messages, and comes into play when two ham radio operators cannot be connected together because of distance, propagation, just equipment that is not so good, limitations. Anyhow, how do you relay a message to somebody that you don't have a direct connect to? I'll get into that today. And again, one of the reasons I really, really like FSQ. I'll wrap this all up in a nice summary, kind of highlight and refresh this. So for you new and watching this, I'll tie it all back together so you can walk away with a better overall perspective and understanding of what's most important. So a great comment came in recently from someone by the name of I'm Always Right. He said, "Hey MJ, Ham Radio Deluxe doesn't cost $100 per month, and there is no monthly maintenance fee. Good grief." He's referring to a video I recently did, and you know what? He's right. I made a mistake. I said something I wasn't supposed to, but anyhow, here's the bottom line. Ham Radio Deluxe, one-time license, $100 up front. And if you want the ongoing support maintenance year 2, $50 a year. So I'm always right. You are. FSQ stands for Fast, Simple QSO. And what you have to consider when you're using this HF digital mode, it's basically text chat, short messages, 1 to 2 lines, make it quick. And this operates on FLDigi. Because it has a fast acquisition of the signal, there's no need for error correction. So it makes it really, really fast. You'll hear a lot of these different HF digital modes out there that talk about error correction. This one doesn't need it. And because it has high resistance to QRM and QRN, which is, static and interference, it makes it one to be able to punch through bad conditions. Now, some tips on doing this here. When you're typing, use lowercase as much as possible. Don't try to do caps. because when you keep it lowercase, it actually is easier, faster, and more accurate. Hit the Enter key on your keyboard when you're done to transmit. Instead of taking your hand off the keyboard, putting it on the mouse, going in and getting to the transmit button on FL Digi, don't have to do that. Just hit the Enter key. There are so many cool things about this that makes it fast. Another cool thing about this is you don't have to match the format speeds. So for example, when I'm on FSQ, someone could be on 2 baud and I'm on the 4.5. Someone else could be on 6. We don't all have to be sharing the same format speed. Whereas Contesti Olivia, PSK 31, all of those that you're going to see in there, you have to be on like all of the same format speed, 4 125 or 8, 500. Not the case here. Again, another unique feature. Just make sure the RxID is not enabled, and I'll remind you when I go through the live demo here shortly. So when you think of FSQ, you're not only doing, messaging, you're doing directed messages and directed file sharing and transfers. So over on the right, you're going to get something that's known as the heard list. And when you highlight a particular call sign, you right mouse click it, up pops this nice options. You can query a signal to noise report, which I'll show you that. You can query a location. You can send a file. You can send images. And not only can you do it to one, you can do it to multiple ones. And I'll show you again all how to do that. It's really simple. So think of it as a directed message to a specific call sign or call signs. I start my message, KE2KN, right to KE2KN only on the call list. He's the only one that's going to get the message. Now, if I want to go to 2 on the call list, they're both of those call signs, or 3. So you can start to see, this is not necessarily publicly visible. The others that are on the call list aren't going to be seeing it. It's going to be sent directly to the other person. So this is really, really unique feature. You can do the same thing with a direct file transfer. So if I have a specific file that I want to send to a station or, 2 stations or whatever, I can actually send the file. And it can go into what is known as shared folders, which are a little bit more private. And again, I'll walk through all of this in the demo here shortly. It also works with the relay function. So again, what is a relay? Basically, I don't have a direct contact between someone else on my call list here, on my heard list. It can relay and send a file, not just a message. So what is a relay? Think of it as 2 ham radio operators that can't connect to each other, but needs to relay a message through someone else to get to them. And so relay messages, within the heard list, has to be within your heard list. So let's say I'm showing 3 here, but I know on my network we have 6 people here, but I want to get a message to someone else who's not on that list. That's where the relay comes in. So from your heard list, you're going to form a mesh network of lists, whether you see them or not. And again, these are people in your trusted network you're trying to meet at a specific time, a specific frequency, on a specific offset. And once everyone knows that, the stuff hits the fan, you all jump on at that time, frequency, the offset, and now you created a mesh network. This can actually do multi-hop relays. That's pretty cool. And the nice thing about this is the response automatically returns the same route that it was sent. I don't have to figure out what's the best way for that message to be relayed. The system does it automatically. Really, really nice stuff. But we're going to need a relay beacon in there. So when we think about it, Steve, KE2KN, is in Raleigh, cannot get his signal to go all the way across to Bend, Oregon, on the other side of the United States and get Katie, KO4TWA. This is where Ben comes in. He becomes a relay beacon. Good old Wobam here in Kansas City, he can reach Steve, he can reach Katie. Now, when Steve's sending a message to Katie, Ben doesn't have to do anything. He didn't even see it. It goes right through the FSQ application on his system, and it's automatically being routed to Katie. Steve didn't have to figure out what is the route, how to get there. The system does it itself. Again, it's very, very smart, whoever designed this system. Just real quick in the FSQ settings, a couple tips I want to bring out here, and I'll show you here and we'll go through that. But, go to your modem, go to your FSQ. You're going to make sure timeout is around 15. Make sure these 2 boxes are checked. But 2 things I want to point out and go over. Herd aging. What does that mean? In my herd list with my call signs, if it gets too cumbersome, if I'm having fun, I'm not necessarily doing when stuff hits the fan, I'm just playing with it, and you get too many people, you could set it so that after 10 minutes, call signs start dropping off. When stuff hits the fan, put it in never, because you don't want call signs in your mesh network dropping off. Everyone should all have that same setting that's on there. And again, you want to talk to about a sounder. What is a sounder? It sends out your call sign, similar to JSA call sending out a heartbeat. If you're having fun, send it out every 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want to do. But when stuff hits the fan, again, from a prepper standpoint, turn that off. I don't want others to know I'm out there, other than who's in my designated mesh network that we're going to meet at a specific time, specific frequency, specific offset, etc. That's what you want to do. So just FYI. So hopefully that's enough to get started here. So let's jump in to a live demo of FSQ on FLDigi. Let's go ahead and open up your FLDigi, and for the demo purposes, I'm on version 4.1.23. So if you have a different version, it may look a little bit different, but this is the latest as of the end of 2022. First thing we're going to want to do is go under the configure, and we're going to make a change here. So the configure dialog. Under modem, we want FSQ, which the demo is on today. And we have two key ones that I want to make sure that you change. The sounder is basically a ping that goes out that lets other people know that MJ KW3 KW is on this particular frequency, and they can, try to reach out to me, or I can try to reach out to them. Don't want that on when you're in a prepper mode and stuff hits the fan. I only want direct calls to the people I know are on a set time, on a set frequency, and we're going to communicate. But if you want to go ahead and have fun, you can do it every 1 minute, 10 minutes, practice, play with it, see who you can reach. Again, practice and test. But for when stuff gets bad, change that to off. And it's just like your herd aging. This is your herd calls that are right in here. All the call signs that come in that you have heard will pop up on this side over here. And again, you have the option. You can, say, listen, I'm getting a lot. Let's, kick it down to 30, 60 minutes, and then it'll start to delete the ones that are after 60 minutes. But again, stuff hits the fan, never, because I may or may not become a relay beacon. And so if I leave this on and it's 4 or 5 people, and the only way to get from one ham operator across the country to the other is they're going through me, then I leave it on. So again, just think of it from two perspectives, having fun and being in the prepper mindset. Add date and time, always append to files. Just check this out. Looks good. I'm going to hit the save, and I'm going to hit the close. If we go up here, the first thing we want to do is go up under op mode. We're going to go under FSQ. I'm going to pick 4.5 since I know I already have a good signal. You can always change the format speed down in here, remember? And one of the things before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and hit the monitor button down here. See, it's on the bottom right corner. It's going to show 4.5 bandwidth 290. With this version on 2 different radios and 2 different computers, I'm finding that the initial time I open up this application in FSQ, the bandwidth is 0. If you see that, and let me tell you right now, nothing's going to work. What you do to get around it is a quick fix is just go to the speed down in here and change the speed. That's all you need to do is just change the speed. And next time you pull up monitor, it should show, let me pull it up. It should show 290. That's what you want to see. Bandwidth 290. Once you see that, you're ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just move that aside. So let's get into this. Frequency, we're both on the same frequency, 10.140.000, 30 meter band. Offset is 500, which we agreed upon. I'll get into that a little bit more. Make sure the RxID is off. This, anyone has heard, will pop up in here, and I'll do it as if it was the first time, but I did get Steve at KE2KN on already, and making sure that he's ready to go. FSQ is on, active is on, it's showing, it's the yellow is on, monitor is on, and let's see down here, squelch or not to squelch. Today I'm using the squelch, and I have my slider lever above the receive signal about that much, which works really good. So we've already tested this out. Now, to get to 500 on the offset, remember, let's say if I'm over here, I go into the center here, it's 530, I can just go, this is increments of 10, these are increments of 1, 500, set, make sure we're good to go on that. Now remember, I don't have to be on the same speed as Steve. I can be at 4.5 and he can be at 6, he can be at 1 or 2, whatever. FSQ is unique in the sense you don't have to match the format speed, so that's good. So we have our receive pane, our transmit pane, and our heard call list. So what I'm going to just do in here is, for the first time, if he wasn't on the list, all I have to do is type in small caps. I don't have to capitalize this. KE2KN, are you ready? And hit the enter on the keyboard really fast. So again, short couple lines at the most. Now you're going to see the signal going off, and KE2KN should be getting this now. If he pulled up his monitor, let me pull up my monitor so you can actually see. So this is what's happening on here. So when you see this monitor, it's going to give you all of the kind of the codes that go in here, versus up here, it's really clean. All this stuff is stripped out. This is nice because you can see it as it's going. Sometimes you don't get that up here, especially with signal reports and stuff. But, you know, you have the BS at the end, basically end of message. It could stand for, I don't know, backspace, Barbra Streisand, or could stand for back to sender. Not quite sure. If anyone really knows what that is, that's family friendly, go ahead and put it in the comments below. So I sent a message over, and we should be waiting now to hear from him. And let's see if we see a signal coming. Yep, we have a signal coming in here. Let's pull up the monitor. And he is sending a signal right in here as we read it, and we're good to go on that. Ready to go. Simple as that. So again, close that off. Let's send a signal report. Here's what I have to do now. Now that he's in my heard list, all I have to do is double click. See it pull up over here, and then go, please send a signal report. Hit enter on my keyboard, pull up the monitor. You can see it sending. Please send a signal report. He's going to make a request. So that's done. That's good. So let's see what he does. And here's a message coming in. And you can see right in here. See, again, you're seeing some of this before it actually starts to populate up here in the receive window. He says he's ready to go. So perfect here. So now we just have to wait. And so let's look down here. Seeing a message coming in over here, and KE2KN. This is going to be a signal report request. Now, how this works is basically he's going to make a request. I'm not touching anything. FSQ knows when he just put that request in, and I'll do one back to him so that you can see. It's automatically doing this without me having to put any information in. And you look up in here. Here's like your DB, and let's see, DB is 9. So that's perfect. So right now I know signal report is 9 dB. So I go ahead and put it in here, and I'll send one back to him. So I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to go query signal report, and let's pull up the monitor. And let's see if I get it like, 30 or something on my side. And now that request went in, and now he's sending it back. And again, he's not touching anything. I'm not touching anything. This is all automated. 34 dB. And the reason I do this is because since I really have a good signal strength, that he's receiving me on, I can, this is where you can kick up or lower your format speed down in here so that you're maybe not stuck in a slow speed, or if you go too high and it's not coming in too good, you want to adjust this. So again, areas that you need to adjust is going to be the format's speed down in here. Make sure your offset is good. And again, if the frequency's not working, you adjust the frequency. So let's see. Since we both sent our signal report, let's request a file. So I'm going to request a file. So again, all I have to do is double click and please send me a file. Enter. I pull that up, and he's going to pull up a file here as we watch that go. And then I'm going to send a file back to him also, just to make sure here. So let's just wait for him to get a report. Is it anything coming across? Yep. We're seeing down in here. And this is a file, and I'll show you where all the file stuff is at. But the nice thing about this file, you can continually put information in it and send a file. I can forward the file. I can relay the file. And again, really, really nice. Now, why would you want to do this? You're already saying I could see the information up here, like right here. Well, if it's in the file and once this program is off, all that information is saved. So I can go back and say, oh yeah, what time were we supposed to call? Oh, it was on Monday. And oh, by the way, what was the offset? It's 500. And what's the backup frequency? Oh, the backup frequency is 14.110. And so beautiful. So let's send a file back to him. Let's actually pull it up. So I can pull up that file that he sent. So I'm going to go up under File. I'm going to go under Folders. I'm going to go under FLDigiConfig. And I want to look under the temporary. So I double click on the temporary where it's installed. And this is the new file he sent. And so here's the message he sent. So I can turn around right in here and say, if I wanted to, I can go from my ICOMM 70, 7300, but I won't do that. I'll say, thanks. If I can type, thanks, and I will pass this on to Ben. And I can put KW3KW. Hit the file, hit the save. I can close it. Now I can just minimize this. So it's my turn. So I'm going to go to Steve at KE2KN, right mouse click, and send file. And it's going to pull up the file, and this was the new one right in here. So I'm just going to double click that and pull up the monitor. And now I'm sending the file off to Steve. And if I'll pull back up that file and we'll see if there's any additional information in, just to show you here. So here's the received on the 26th of 2021, December 26th. And it's from his ICOMM, and it kind of repeats the message. And we'll go in on that. While this is taking place and this is all coming across, when these messages come to files like this, it's going to come across to show if he received it, it's going to say ACK, which is acknowledged. So we should see that. That's what we're going to look for. So it lets us know that it just didn't go off into, to wander off into some frequency we don't know or off into the universe. It'll actually let us know that he received it successfully. And so here's my response. Thanks. And I will pass this on to Ben. And there's my call sign, and hopefully let's look for the acknowledged. It's finishing up over here. See this? And this is why I like to have both on, because it's still showing me. There it is, the acknowledged. Okay, so he received it. Okay, so now you know how to set this up. What are the settings on here? How to do direct messages back and forth, as well as how to send a file. Two other things, and then we'll be done on this one. So I'll just kind of go over here. If you want to send it to, let's say, Ben, who's was on earlier, but let's pretend he's still on. But if I wanted to send a message to both of them, all I have to do is type in both their call signs, KE2KN and WO0BAM. Let's talk again later tonight. Same frequency and offset. Now, by putting both of their call signs in here, the message is going to go to both of them. And again, cursor's at the end, hit enter, and pull up the monitor. And now it's going to be sent off. So that's how you take multiple people that you're trying to send to. And now, as this kind of goes through it, you get the idea. I don't think you have to see all of this in this column here. If there was like 4 different call signs in here, and I'm trying to get all the way from, let's say Steve is trying to get all the way to Ben, and there was 2 other call signs in here, the system knows how to route the message. So if Steve can't reach me, for example, let's say we can't, let's say Ben can't reach me. Ben, Bam, Wobam can't reach me, but Ken can reach him, and I can reach Ken. Well, the system automatically knows if I send a message to Wobam, for example, just double click on, and I put, did you receive this message? Now, I'm not going to really send it because he's not on right now. But if I send that message, I can't reach him, but it's going to be routed through Steve at KE2KN. It's going to go automatically to him without any intervention whatsoever. So you start to see the beauty of this. You can relay messages, and this is why it's important to get a group of people like-minded together across the country and start to meet them, and with the idea of, hey, let's be on a part of a group so we can be able to send messages to our families across the United States, you know? And so, again, from a prepper standpoint, this is great, but you're only as good as the call sign contacts that you have out here. So this is where, like, from doing this channel, other people are reaching out to me. I'm talking to them, and I'm saying, hey, let's, get your equipment up and running. Let's work on this, and let's develop a network. So if you're the type of person who's watching this and says, hey, MJ, I'd like to get on, and I'd like to be able to be like a beacon relay and part of transmitting messages to where I also want to go, just email me at hamradiomadesimple@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you, and let's see if we can't get, some people on here, start practicing it, and then create a network where we don't have any, I call it skip zone areas where people can't reach. We can use each other to relay messages to other people across the country, especially our family members in different parts, successfully. So hopefully you can see the value of this. And I really love FSQ. And there's so much functionality in here. We're just scratching the surface. I mean, you can do images, you can do color, black and white, high resolution, low resolution. There's a lot of things that you can do with this program. But again, remember, keep it short, keep it sweet, use lowercase, and just have fun using it. So what did we learn today about FSQ? Well, it is pretty unique. You can do point-to-point messages and text files sent directly between one or multiple ham radio operators. It's private as far as HF goes. It can operate on different op or format speeds that are out there. So again, we all don't have to be on 4.5 or 2, which is unique. It can auto-send different type of reports such as signal to noise, ratio reports, location, etc., which is really nice with very little intervention. As far as sending, you can forward or relay messages, which is huge. You can send text files. You can send images. Now, on the images, I didn't go over because I'm not sure as a prepper you're really going to be sending images much. But if you do, it comes in 3 formats. There's a high and low resolution color, and there's a black and white. Again, remember this, to adjust your settings as I showed you, uncheck the RxID box. Always try to send the signal to noise ratio report first, and that way you'll know as far as your speed and what you're sending. You may be able to send it faster, and it's less bothersome to you and to others, having to watch a slower speed go across, as well as have the notepad opened if you're wanting to send text files to someone else that's in there. So that pretty much wraps that up. So our next video is going to be Olivia Contestia, and I'm going to get more into FL message, which is really forms attachment. I didn't get into that today with the FSQ, and I'll wrap that up a little bit in the next video. Talk about WinLink Vara, which is, again, that's probably my number 2 that's out there, peer-to-peer on that one. JSA call, which is really good. The only downside with JSA call is it needs to be time synced, and that's an issue. If stuff hits the fan and your clock is off, it becomes a major hurdle. But if everything's working right, JSA call is very robust and a great choice. So eventually, I think I want to do is a cross comparison between these different ones to basically say, okay, this one does this one doesn't do that, because it can kind of get all muddled together trying to figure it out. And hopefully I can sort it out for you and be able to show you which ones do relays, which ones do private messages, etc. And is it manual or is it automatic intervention? So again, if you're getting value out of these videos, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. I really appreciate it, as well as those coming behind you. I appreciate you sticking through me on this video. This is MJ, call sign KW3KW, with Ham Radio Made Simple, out.